I think of Peter when he's on the boat and Jesus is walking on the water. And Peter sees him. And Jesus says, come. And Peter doesn't even think. He's like, that's Jesus. I know him. I trust him. That's God. He can do anything. And so Peter gets up and he goes. He starts walking toward Jesus, and the disciples that are in the boat with him, what are they doing? What are you doing, Peter? You can't walk on. You're not Jesus. What are you thinking? But Peter puts his foot out of that boat. He steps out on the water, and for a moment, he has his eyes on Jesus, and he stands in the wind and the waves, doing something nearly impossible for worldly standards. But then the voices of those around him, the doubts, the fears, things he's learned over the years, all that come into his mind. The storm is raging. And Peter takes his eyes off of Jesus, and what happens? He sinks into the waves. You might have that same thing today. I don't know about you, but I watch these movies and I see these people and you know that they're going to walk into some situation that they shouldn't be in, and I start screaming at them like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't do that. And I do this with this illustration when I watch these movies about, when Jesus was on earth and he's with the disciples. I see this and I start yelling at Peter like, what are you thinking? Jesus is right there with you. You can walk on the water. You shouldn't even have doubts. But I got to tell you, Jesus walks beside us every single day. He asks us to do things that we think are impossible, but they're not. He's with us. He has promised